How's it going, gang? It's the final render here, and welcome to a fantastic Fallout 76 video. In this video, I'm going to go and talk about the new special loadout system that is coming to the game very soon, and how I'm going to combine two of my classes into one character. This is something which I'm really looking forward to with the special loadout, and I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of 76 players. So, if you're not too sure what I'm talking about with the special loadouts, we talked about it a few days ago. On the recent Inside the Vault article, we got some information of a brand new special loadout system, which will allow us to have multiple special loadouts saved to one character. So all we have to do is use a machine which we can build at our camp or at any train station, and then we'll be able to swap out our special points and special card loadouts for anything else which we decide. As long as we have the perk cards for it, we can build other characters and swap them out just by going to a train station or at our camp. Now this is very, very exciting because it's essentially a way to respec our characters, and it means that we can actually have multiple characters saved onto one character slot. And also, the game has actually increased the stash limit, so it means that if we have certain weapons and armors that are essential to that character build, we can actually store them all on one character. So many people, myself included, have got multiple characters saved on our accounts in Fallout 76. I've got about 4 of them, and we don't actually need to have that many anymore, because we actually can combine certain characters together. It wouldn't make much sense to combine all possible weapon types onto one character, but we can combine certain ones that synergize quite well with their special points and stuff. So, what am I going to do today? I am going to show you both of my builds, and I'm going to talk about how I want to merge them together so we can have multiple classes on one character. It's going to be really good for the game, because if people actually combine all their characters into same multiple characters, then it means that there will be less stress on the Bethesda servers and stuff like that, and it means the game will also run smoother. So it's not just a way to quickly and easily make more characters, but it's also a way to make the game run a bit smoother as well, I'm guessing. So, what we're going to do, we're going to look at this character first, who is my anti-armor tank build, and then we're going to take a look at my second character, who is a fully min-maxed stealth commando build, who is insanely powerful. So, but let's talk about my main character first, this one. This is my main character who I have had since the game came out. Since beta, I have been playing this character. She's done all the DLC, she's done the reputation grind and all that stuff, she's taken part in most of the events, and she knows the vast majority of plans in the game, which is something which I really love about this character, whereas my Stealth Commando character hardly knows any plans, because she's a much newer character, and also didn't actually do all the reputation grind with Wastelanders and stuff like that. So therefore, this character knows all the plans, and is going to be my main character, with multiple character slots from now on. So, let's talk about what they are. Firstly, let's get one thing straight. This character is full-on power armor. Not everyone's a fan of power armor, but I personally am. This is my anti-armor tank build. Now, why have I gone with an anti-armor tank build? So, one, I actually play with a lot of people, so therefore being able to tank the damage and get in the way of some of the big boss battles actually does really help some of our bloodied friends. But not only that, but it's genuinely really good fun to stomp around in power armor and use big guns. So, we have got right here the T65 power armor. T65 power armor is without doubt the best power armor in the game. It's arguably very close to the Ultrasight Strangleheart power armor, which has a tiny bit more radiation resistance. However, as far as I'm aware, this has more ballistic, more energy resistance, and also you can buy the mods for this power armor from the Secret Service using gold bullion, wherever you cannot get the mods guaranteed for the Ultrasight power armor, which is also the same mods for the Strangleheart. They share the same mod pool. So therefore, it makes much more sense to go with the T65 if you want the best power armor. I mean, by all means, if you have all the plans for the Strangleheart, go ahead. It'll be a fantastic power armor, but this one is the best overall in my honest opinion. Okay, so that's the power armor. Easily gives you the most amount of resistance by a long shot compared to the other power armors. Much, much more protection than, say, T60 or XO1, etc. But that is the power armor. There's not much going on with that, really, I need to tell you about mod-wise. It's got emergency protocols on the chest in case I get really low health. It's got calibrated shocks on the legs. It's got the mod which allows you to have more power attack damage on the arms. I honestly forget what that's called. Optimized braces, that is called. And for the head, I have got the database. And I honestly forget what the database does. I think it gives you 2 more intelligence. So, you know, it'll help you out with XP a little bit. But okay, that's the power armor. That's not essential to the build. What have I actually got in terms of guns? We'll talk about guns very quickly, because guns I'm constantly changing. Constantly. So therefore, it's actually not that big a deal to talk about the guns right now. Firstly, anti-armor plasma caster. This isn't really my main gun, but it is an extremely fun one. You can use this as kind of like a long-range sniper weapon using VATS, and it could do an awful lot of damage per shot. 116 damage ballistically and 122 energy. But here's the thing, the main reason I like anti-armor is because anti-armor means you can do a huge amount of damage without having to worry about anything else. What I mean by that is that if you're a bloody character, you need to have low health. If you're a junkies character, you need to take away your specials. I've tried all the classes. I can tell you for a fact that anti-armor is a very good class. Is it as much damage as, say, a bloodied build or a junkies build? No, it's not. But it does make energy weapons a bit more viable, and also it means I can have full health all the time, so I can tank for my team, which is my ultimate plan after all. But my main weapon is this thing right here. This is a really, really good gun. This is one I've called the Buzzsaw. What is this? This is an anti-armor explosive 250% damage resistance whilst reloading light machine gun. This thing is insanely powerful. I really mean that, because here's the thing. This has 77 points of damage, okay? Combine that with anti-armor, which gives you 50% more ignoring of the armor. Penetration of the armor, sorry, that was the word. Sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet. And also, it's explosive, so we get extra explosive damage on top of that. This thing's fire rate is nuts. And because of that, it means you can do a huge amount of damage to your opponents very quickly. And since it's got such a high rate of fire, and is explosive, it means you do an extra lot of damage on top of that. And I was tempted to try to keep rolling and hopefully try to get a faster fire rate anti-armor one of these. But honestly, since the fire rate is so high, it might be better with an explosive, because it means I guarantee to hit the enemy and do lots of damage. Because it's pretty inaccurate, it's got a lot of recoil, but if you actually go and manage that recoil by using your power armor with the stabilized perk, we actually have a much better time with it overall. Honestly, this gun is god tier, and I can't not recommend it enough. It's fantastic. Furthermore though, we have some other guns to look at, like this one for example, which is one I have nicknamed Ventru. If you can guess why in the comment section, you are a hero and someone of culture. This is a faster fire rate vampires ultrasight Gatling laser. Now, why is this such a big deal? This is such a big deal because this thing can actually out-heal any damage you take. And I mean that very literally. When you have this thing firing with the faster fire rate legendary effect, anything that is doing damage to you will never be able to out-damage the healing effect. I've taken direct shots from Assaultrons, from the Imposter Sheep Squatch, from the Scorch Beast Queen, everything that hits you, acid attacks from certain enemies like the dude who is the Wendigo Colossus, Williams. This thing can out-heal any attack. Now, this is great because as an anti-armor tank build, I can stand right in front of the bad guy and just fire this in their face, and I will always be full health. It's insane how much healing this thing gives you. Now, I don't know if it would give you that if you didn't have the faster fire rate, but this thing does have the faster fire rate. It's also got ultrasight ammo, so it does a little bit more damage. And it's okay in terms of damage. It doesn't do much, but as I said, the faster fire rate really does mean it gives you an exceptional amount of healing. So you don't really have it for damage, you have it so you can tank, and it's a fantastic gun. And then at the end of that, we also have an anti-armor Gauss minigun, just because, you know, I love it. This thing actually isn't anywhere near as good as I wanted, you know. I really wanted this to do a bit better, but honestly, it's so expensive to fire, I don't really use it that much. I mostly use it for the memes and stuff. Oh, and then we have a bloodied faster fire rate cryolator for when we're dealing with the Scorch Beast Queen. Good fun, that is, you know. Generally does freeze her in place and makes the Scorch Beast Queen fight much, much easier. So those are the weapons I'm using. Those are the primary weapons I'm using. Really good for tanking, really good anti-armor stuff. Absolutely a fantastic weapon loadout right there. But, as I said, this is all about special loadouts. So why don't I go and show you the specials, seeing as I've been talking for about 10 minutes and I haven't even talked about the specials on the characters yet. So, this is why the special loadout is going to be very, very cool, because I will be able to swap these special numbers and the special cards with anything I want at any time. I just got to go to a train station or go to a camp, and then I can swap it to something entirely different. But let's talk about why this character is really, really good, and why I'm also really excited that Blep is going to be our cool, swappable commando build. So, firstly, we have got 11 strength right now, which gives us Bandolier, which reduces the weight of heavy guns. We've got a lot of them. Lock and Load, which makes them reload faster. Very good. Bandolier, which reduces their ammo by a lot. I'm normally carrying around 3,000 to 7,000 rounds for my anti-armor LMG, so it's a really good idea to have that. And also Blocker, which reduces the damage taken from melee attacks. How many times do you get hurt by something in the game and it's a melee attack? The vast majority of animals will hurt you with a melee attack. Fantastic thing for tank builds, Blocker, really, really good. You'll also notice that I don't have any of the heavy gunner perks on. The reason I don't have that is because ever since the One Wasteland update, there was a big nerf to most of these damage perks. And what that means is that you get much, much less value out of these perks. You get plus 60% damage if you invest 9 points into strength and equip all of these. Now, 9 points of damage, 60% of damage, that sounds really good, you say. Yeah, but it's really not. Because there are so many important, valuable perk cards which you then can't have, because this caps out at 15, the strength. So in other words, these are now no longer really worth it. In my honest opinion, me and other people who do lots of different class builds all universally agree these are not worth taking for the time being. Until there's like a big rebalance of the game, these just aren't worth the special investment. Don't get me wrong, if you have them and you want a little bit of extra damage, you do you, but me personally, I'd rather just have these more useful ones. Until there's a rebalance, that is. Perception, for perception, we don't need much perception for heavy guns after all, you know, we just hold mouse 1 to win, essentially. So, for perception, gives us concentrated fire level 3, so I can target limbs, great idea, makes things much easier, and also fire in the hole. I don't throw grenades much, but it is nice to have that arc grenade thing there when we are using it. And of course, they can go further away, which is really, really cool. Endurance, 10 endurance. Now, as I said, I'm an anti-armor tank build, so therefore I need lots of endurance. I originally had much more agility instead of endurance, but then I realized if I'm going to tank, I might as well have the most endurance, because my T65 power armor gave me so much health, I could just play the game with 2 endurance. But I've decided if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it properly, give myself 10 endurance, because you get extra HP per endurance point. So, these aren't the best perk cards for endurance. I must admit, I haven't actually invested the time to get the really good endurance cards yet, but I do have some good ones. I mostly have it for the points rather than the cards. So, firstly, Fireproof. Fireproof means I take 45% less damage from explosions and flame attacks. Fantastic that is right there. It means I actually just ignore 45% of that damage. What can I say? It's brilliant for a tank build. It's excellent. Now, we also have Revenant. Revenant is something which isn't very important on this character, but is very, very important for all of you bloodied min-max builds out there. What Revenant does is that it gives you an extra 50% of damage for 2 minutes when a player revives you. Now you may say, Final Render, that's a bit silly, don't you think? Having to die and then to get an extra 50% of damage? What if someone doesn't revive you? Here's the thing. It also works for life-saving bits of armor. So if you have a set of life-saving armor, you can go and equip that, throw yourself off a building, you'll revive yourself, and then you will have an extra 50% of damage for the next 2 minutes. That's something that a lot of people do if they're going for timed runs against Scorched Beast Queen or Earl Williams and stuff. I've done a bit of that myself, and it really does make wonders of your character. So therefore, really good perk to have there. I also have Radical, which gives me more strength depending on my rads. Now, as I said, I'm a tank build on this, so primarily I won't have a lot of rads, but if I really need to, say if I'm over encumbered, I can drink some toxic goo or a load of dirty water, get some strength, and then I can fast travel home if I'm over encumbered. And then Homebody. As I said, not an important perk at all. Not an important perk at all. But I have it just because I happened to have the card. What I could do instead of Homebody, and arguably Radical, is maybe I could get some points into, I don't know, something like Adamantium Skeleton. So when I'm not in my power armor, I could get some extra resistance. That could be a cool thing. Charisma. We have 6 Charisma right now. And this is actually quite a nice one, actually, because we can kind of just do what we want with Charisma. Firstly, we've got Tenderizer rank 2. This means our target receives 7% more damage for 7 seconds after you attack. I'm always firing very fast, so it means, in theory, most of the enemies I'm shooting at are taking more damage. Pretty nice overall. We have also got Suppressor. Reduce target's damage output by 30% for 2 seconds after you attack. So as long as I'm shooting at an enemy, which is always because I've got very high rate of fire, I'm always taking 30% less damage from those enemies. Fantastic perk card right there. Absolutely love it. And it's really, really good. Strange in numbers. Now, this is what I normally change out depending on how I'm playing. You know, sometimes I'll have strange in numbers. Sometimes I'll go and put traveling agent on if I'm like farming supplies and stuff like that. But strange in numbers, I'm normally always in a team, so it makes my mutation stronger, which is really, really ace overall. Intelligence. Intelligence is very interesting for a heavy gun build because heavy gun builds often go with energy weapons such as the ultralight Gatling laser. So this is where intelligence comes in. Firstly, we've got Scrapper, just because, well, you know, I had an extra point, so I thought, why not put Scrapper on? I sometimes exchange that for 1 rank of Demolition Expert if I'm using a big explosive gun. But what I primarily want from Intelligence is Stabilized. When in Power Armor, heavy guns have excellent accuracy and ignore 45% of armor, giving me even more armor penetration when I'm in Power Armor. So let's take a look at this then. Look at this recoil. Pretty all over the place, right? It's a pretty big radius overall. But if I then go and jump into my Power Armor right here, since it's obviously like a big metal skeleton with gears for arms and stuff like that, it means we have much, much more accuracy. Right there. Much smaller cone. Much more accurate right there. Essential for heavy gun Power Armor builds, in my honest opinion. It's only 3 intelligence and it's totally worth it. And also, you can just see the reload time there as well. But it was actually pretty slow that, wasn't it? Because there is a little bit of a bug with lock and load to where if you get out of your Power Armor, you got to put it back on for it to take effect. So now I reload this. Much faster with that perk card. Do you agree? Okay, so what else was there? We have also got Power User. Fusion core duration is now doubled. Now this is obviously really good for this gun. Right here. My Ultrasight Vampire gun. Now this is good because normally fusion cores have 500 laser cells in them. 500. Now that's an awful lot. However, since this perk doubles our fusion cores, it means we have 1,000 rounds in every fusion core. Not only that, but it also means the fusion cores we're using to power our suit last longer. So, really, really good perk for Power Armor builds, especially if you're using an Ultrasight Gatling laser. Really, really good. Or even a regular Gatling laser. You will double your ammo capacity just by equipping that perk. It's absolutely fantastic. And then finally, we have Power User. Not Power User, sorry. We have batteries included. Energy weapon ammo reduced by 90%. Now, you don't really need to have this if you're not using energy weapons, but I do use a lot of energy weapons, so therefore it is worth me taking. How much ammo am I carrying for my energy weapons? We've got 1,500 for the Plasma Caster. We have got 34 Ultrasight Fusion cores for my Vampire gun. We've got 8,500 for my Gauss minigun. Wow. I really need to sort out my bags, don't I? But yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. So reducing that weight by 90% means I can function. But I really don't need that amount of ammo. I really should just get rid of most of it. You don't need to carry as much ammo as you think, you know. So right there, that stack of 8,000 weighs 21 pounds. 21 pounds with the perk. With the perk. What happens if I take batteries included off, for example? Yeah, that becomes 213 pounds. Oh god, look at that carry weight. That's just energy ammo right there. You know, the fusion cores, which weigh 3 each. And unfortunately, they don't always stack either, so it's a bit harder to work that out with the cores. But yeah, that stack right there is 48 fusion cores worth, for example. So therefore, having that perk, pretty essential really, if you're using energy weapons in your Power Armor heavy build. After that, we've also got agility. We've got Action Girl. Action Girl's really good, you know, level 3, or Action Boy. Action points come back 45% faster. When in Power Armor, everything which uses VATS takes more AP than normal. It just does. It's something that's a trade-off with Power Armor. If you want to go and use VATS, you really shouldn't be in Power Armor for the most part, because every action point cost is much, much more in Power Armor as opposed to just on foot. That's just for trade-off of Power Armor. So therefore, Action Girl is great for Power Armor users, but in fact, I'd argue it's just great for everyone. Everyone should have Action Girl. It's a great perk to have. And now Dodgy. Dodgy level 3. Avoid 30% of incoming damage at a cost of 30 action points per hit. Now, this is a fantastic card, and as far as I'm aware, I don't fully know the details, but apparently it had a very minor buff recently behind the scenes, like a stealth buff. I honestly don't know the details of that, but I read it briefly somewhere on Reddit. And it just means we don't get hurt as much. And again, for anti-armor tank builds, absolutely fantastic. Then finally for luck. Bloody Mess. 15% more damage. Simple, right? Nothing else to it. Ricochet. Ricochet is a brilliant perk. Ricochet. Gain an 18% chance to deflect back some of the enemy's range damage. But it doesn't count for PvP, is an important thing to know. This is an amazing, amazing perk for a Power Armor heavy gun build. Because it means we can just tank so many bullets. 1 in 5 bullets, essentially, are ignored. Combine that with 30% of incoming damage reduction. Also combine that with suppressor. Also combine that with things like blocker. You can take much more damage with things like ricochet. All those perks synergize really well together. And then after that, Class Freak. Class Freak just makes the mutation effects a little less worse. You know, the negative effects of my mutations. Now, mutations, I'm not really going to talk about mutations too much because it's pretty simple stuff, really, for the most part. I'm really not too bothered about which mutations I have. But if you're interested, Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Eagle Eyes, Herbivore, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, Speed, Demon, Talons, Twisted Muscles. You know, could lose some of them, but it's not the end of the world, you know. So I have that just to actually reduce some of the negative effects of them, which I generally think is a very good idea. But then again, if you're really okay with that, you could swap that out for something else. You could swap it out for something like One Gun Army, which I loved to use. Heavy guns have a 12% chance to stagger and a 12% chance to cripple a limb. Now, that doesn't sound like much. 12%, that's like 1 in 10, essentially. That's not very good. Yeah, but when your fire rate is like this, it's pretty crazy. You cripple limbs quite a lot, you know what I'm saying? So One Gun Army is a fantastic one, but for the most part, for the sake of tanking, I keep Class Recon. And then starch genes, of course, so I don't actually accidentally lose my mutations. That's an important thing. So that's pretty cool. That is my anti-armor heavy gun build. Really good class right there. Huge amounts of damage resistance. Can be full health all the time. Oh, I didn't mean to open a lunchbox. I meant to use a rat away, silly me. You can go ahead and cure your rat to have full health. And you can do an exceptional amount of tanking right there. 617 ballistic resistance, 522 energy resistance, 470 radiation resistance. Absolutely brilliant right there. Fantastic class overall. And if you're interested, if I'm ever out of my power armor with my Secret Service armor for the most part, I've got some nice resistances. 482, 452, 297 for those. And that's mostly because for the most part I have Vanguard. Because again, you know, if I'm anti-armor, full health, I would like to essentially have a lot of that. I do have one bit of unyielding. I'm looking to replace that essentially soon. But yeah, lots of Vanguard, so it means when I'm at full health, I get extra resistance. 2 of them have action point and refresh speed. So really, I should be using my power armor less in certain circumstances, but hey. Very cool build overall. There's only one thing which is important as well left to talk about, and that is my really cool legendary perks. Now, most of these aren't really essential for the anti-armor tank build, but we're going to roll with it. Ammo factory. I use a lot of bullets. Having an ammo factory means I can actually produce 150% more ammo, which is absolutely fantastic. I pretty much always have that on, and it's fully maxed out. Taking one for the team. This one is fantastic. Enemies take 40% more damage when they attack you if you're on a team. I am always on a team for the most part. One of the public teams, and I'm always right in the enemy's face because I'm a tank build. So therefore, enemies are pretty much always taking 40% more damage when they attack me. Not only that, but if we then combine that with the Tenderizer, we get our targets receive more damage when they attack. That synergizes very well that legendary perk. Power Sprinter. While in power armor, sprinting takes 50% fewer action points. Yeah, action points, as I said, everything costs more action points when you are in power armor. So, you know, that combined with dodgy means we actually use a lot of action points, so it's really nice to have that. Also means we can kind of keep up, just with speed, keep up with a lot of the other players. Energy absorption, 16% chance that enemy energy attacks recharge your armor's fusion core. Now, I actually haven't maxed this yet, because it's 16% chance to go off, and if you put another perk point into it, it goes up to 20% chance, I believe. But that's 150 perk coins. That's a big investment. One day I'll max it, one day I will, but for now, I'm going to leave it where it is. That's enough. I'm actually currently trying to unlock all of the legendary endurance so I get extra health for my tank build. Really, really good one that is. But I also had unlocked, I believe, I had another one fully unlocked that was really good that I used for the most part. Oh no, not fully unlocked, sorry. I used the this one, Funky Duds, 50%, 50 plus poison damage resistance when wearing a matching set of armor. I believe that counts for power armor, and it means that poison attacks pretty much don't hurt you. There's really no need to max this out. Plus 50% means that poison is almost non-existent. It's an extremely powerful perk at level 1, so I honestly recommend taking that as well if you want to. And then follow through, I am also trying to upgrade this ready for my Stealth Commando perk. Because here's the thing that we haven't talked about yet when it comes to using multiple classes on one character. You need to swap out those legendary perks every time, individually, every time you want to swap out if you want to truly min-max. So therefore, I will also need to have enough of the legendary perk cards to make it truly worth it. if I want to, say, play as my Stealth Commando for a bit, I will have to swap out the perk cards I use for the Stealth Commando, and when I want to go back to the tank build, I will have to swap these out, which means you'll have to have several perk coins just ready to swap out if you want to truly min-max. Like, for example, if you want to take this off, it will cost a perk coin. You know what I mean? So if you want to swap all of these, you'll need to have maybe four perk cards scrapped if you want to swap them all out per special loadout. So therefore, that's something else to take in mind. But that is this build. I've talked way too long about this. I didn't realize this video was going to be that long. Let's now go and take a look at Blep, my Stealth Commando build. Okay, all you scrubs, get out of the way. This is Blep. Blep is my ultimate badass Stealth Commando character. Blep is a character which I've never really talked about on this channel before. We've seen Blep on live streams before, but never really seen Blep in major videos. As I said, Blep is a Stealth Commando with everything invested into doing huge amounts of critical sneak attack damage. Blep is an absolute badass, and you should be fearful of the Blep. So, what is so great about Blep? Blep, as I said, is a Stealth Commando character who has a lot of attention on getting criticals as often as possible in VATS, which means she has an exceptional amount of damage output. Before the big nerf, which came with the One Wasteland, I was currently trying to do speedruns on killing Earl Williams, and I managed to kill Earl Williams with this character maybe in about a minute or so. You can't get anywhere near close to those times anymore. Earl Williams is no longer tanky, because as I said, the damage perks are no longer multiplicative stacking, so therefore we can't get anywhere near the same damage output. However, Blep is still an exceptionally powerful character right here. First thing we're going to do is look at Blep's weapons, and then we'll look at Blep's perks. So, firstly, we do have this. This is a bloodied faster fire rate assault rifle. I use this just for like small mob enemies really, because the ammo is actually much easier to get than my primary weapon, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, really good damage for bloodied. She is definitely a bloodied build, by the way. And it's really nice to have that extra fire rate. And it's got reduced weight as well, so it means it's almost like a sidearm, this thing. You know, it's like it hardly weighs of anything, and it means that I can actually kill a lot of enemies very quickly and easily without having to worry about using my really good, expensive ammo. Moving on from that, though. My main gun. We have a fixer right here. Well, you can't see it because I'm currently invisible. This is a really nice fixer that I just use for my normal, everyday stuff. If I can actually see it. Right here. Yeah, this is just a bloodied fixer. Nothing crazy about that, right? No, it's a fixer. So I get extra movement sneak speed and improved stealth, and it's just bloodied. Really good for just normal, everyday use, essentially. Because this fixer has a huge amount of damage when you are sneaking. And I'm always sneaking. So therefore, that's really great. But my main gun, this is the one that's super expensive that I can hardly ever use. This is called Earl's Bane. That's for Slugbuster. Never mind. That's the wrong one. I can't see my bit boy. Earl's Bane. This is a bloodied 25% faster fire rate, faster movement speed while aiming fixer. This thing is only one legendary effect away from being arguably the most powerful weapon in the entire game. That would be a bloodied 25% faster fire rate, 25% more crit hit? I forget. Fixer. Which would mean it was a B2525. If you go into the 76 marketplace on Reddit, you'll often see people asking for B2525 fixers. That is what this is very close to. We're one effect away from being that. And this is insanely good damage and insanely good fire rate. The only problem with this gun is that it uses Ultrasight 45, which is actually really expensive to make. Really expensive to manufacture, Ultrasight 45, which is why we really need to be mindful of our special loadouts when it comes to getting ammo factory. This character doesn't have it. So what I could do, in theory, is when I swap characters to the other one, she already has ammo factory, which will make this character a lot more effective to use, so to speak. Okay, so that is the main weapons we use, but we do have some extra ones that I just enjoy using. We got a bloody swing speed, not reduced weight dagger. 0.1 weight, that's just for fun and roleplay, essentially. We don't really need to have that. We got a Tesla rifle, because this character often kills things too quickly when playing in a team. So, if you want to just tag like a legendary or something, it's a nice idea to have something weak damage, like a Tesla rifle, so you can tag the bad guys without actually having to ruin it for your team. And then we've got the Slugbuster. Again, weighs 90% reduced weight. This is what I mean. It's just a gun which I have because it's fun to have, you know? And it means I can actually do some really long-range VATS shots, because VATS critical shots do 50% more damage, and it's anti-armor. This is a gun which you can get towards the end of Wastelanders, but you can miss it. You got to do it during the Vault Raid. Go get that. Really good gun. And it's just a nice kind of like long-range sniper that I can use if I just fancy doing something fun with Bleb, but not essential to the build. But of course, we should also probably talk about the armor. Bleb's armor is very, very different after all. So, firstly, unyielding chest piece for the Secret Service. Really good. It's also got a specialist lining because I was doing a lot of Earl Williams runs, and his main damage output is the fire attack on the floor. So, a specialist lining pretty much ignores all of that damage. Next up, unyielding +1 endurance. You'll start to see a pattern emerge in here, also shadowed, so we get extra stealth. Really good armor piece. You know, it's not Secret Service, but pretty darn good. Pretty darn good indeed. Next up after that, once again, shadowed. Shadowed unyielding, combat armor. This also reduces fall damage by 50%. Who cares? I'm not falling down that much either. And extra perception. Really good for VATS hits, of course, perception. Improves that. Number 4, which is a really nice one. Have a guess. Ultra Sight increased action point refresh speed. This is the god tier for what we are after for this character. What we really want is unyielding increased action point refresh speed, so they always have VATS available, they always have unyielding available. The only way this could be better would be if this was wooden armor. Why do I say that? Because wooden also gets an extra stealth buff. So therefore, if you have a full set of either leather or wood, unyielding improved action points. Sorry, I need my coffee. Then you have an absolutely fantastic thing right there. And number 5, have a guess what it is. It's an unyielding piece. But it's shadowed leather, so it's pretty good. It's only level 30 for God's sake. But the effects are more valuable, I suppose. Alright, so that's that. That is what they wear. They also have a full set of life-saving armor, so that when they need to use Revenant, they can go and do that quite easily. They normally carry that with them, but they don't have it right now for some reason. So, let's go and also take a look at our perk cards. Now, perk cards are very, very different for this character, as you can see. So, Bandolier and Strength 2. We have Strength 2 so we can have Bandolier. We carry a lot of ammo, all ballistic ammo for the most part, so that's essential to have. Ground Pounder, automatic reload, 30% faster, and also have excellent hip-fire accuracy. I'm always using fully automatic weapons, so therefore, great thing to have, better hip-fire accuracy, and also a faster reload. Butcher's Bounty, that's just because I had an extra slot, so I figured why not have a chance to get some extra meat. Tank Killer, your rifles and now pistols ignore 36% of armor and have a 9% chance to stagger. Really, really, really good perk right there. Ignore all that armor. As I said, I'm big on anti-armor, but of course this character is going ahead and using bloodied weapons, so therefore not much armor penetration. This gives you that. It's brilliant. And then we actually do have the Commando perks on this character, or at least have one of them. I'm in the process of trying to earn them back because I scrapped them because I was a moron. Yeah, I would definitely like to have the Commando perks on this character, even though I said it really doesn't help much. Not much, not anymore. It's still a min-max character, so we might as well have it, you know what I mean? Green Thumb, again, just because I feel like having it. Concentrated Fire, only level 1. Right here. Because really, for this character, I only really need to just have the ability to target heads and limbs and stuff like that. The extra accuracy isn't that essential to this character. Their output is quite high. So therefore, just having this is enough to really make up for the loss. Again, fire in the hole there. And there we go. I'm not going to say that word. I'll just tell you right now. This is because I was farming magazines for a while. And also bow before me just because I happen to have it. I have plenty of room to get those Commando perks back. I can get rid of that. 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 You know, the point is, I am able to actually... I can get rid of that. I can get more of those Commando perk cards back, which I'd definitely like to very soon. In fact, I can pretty much scrap all of those, can't I? But there's no point, really, because we're going to be retiring this character soon. Endurance 2. We have Revenant. Revenant is the only one I have right now. Now, there are other things I could pick, of course. I could pick things like Radical to make things a bit better, Adamantium Skeleton so I don't get crippled as much, things like that. But right now, I only have Revenant, again, because I scrapped everything, because, you know, 76 told us to scrap our perk cards, and that's the only one I've got right now. So I get 50% extra damage when I get revived by my life-saving armor. Fantastic right there. Now, here we go. This is interesting. Charisma 3. I could use more Charisma. I really, really could, because some of them are really good, like Tenderizer, for example. But for the most part, it's alright. Tenderizer level 1 gives us 5% more damage for 5 seconds, whereas level 2 gave us 7% for 7 seconds. So it's really not that much difference between level 1 and level 2, especially considering our high fire rate, so that's an important thing. Suppressor, similar kind of thing, you know, for 2 seconds for 10% after attacking. So as long as I keep hitting it, then I should be okay. And with that really high fire rate gun I've got, doesn't make much difference. Strange in numbers, again, make my mutation stronger when I'm on a team, because that's a really good thing. However, I'm often not on a team with this character, so sometimes I will want to pick something else, which again, I have scrapped for now because of that thing. Okay, so intelligence. Intelligence isn't as essential to this character. I only have 5 intelligence here, because I would really like to be able to use things like Gunsmith. But I really don't need much intelligence for this character. I'll need the intelligence so I can go and get... Where is it? I can get Nerd Rage right there, which is really good for bloody builds, of course. I can go and get that ready right there. Equip Nerd Rage right there. And also maybe things like Chemist for making chems, which are essential for these min-max bloody builds and stuff. Now here we go. This is where it gets interesting. Agility. Agility, in my opinion, is what makes one of these characters what they are. You know, the ability to sneak around, get VATS hit points and stuff, and stack those abilities. The agility is where it is. So, let's look at what we got. Firstly, Action Girl, as I said, essential. Mr. Sandman, really nice one this is. At night, your silenced weapons do 50% more sneak attack damage, which is a really, really good perk. That combined with Covert Operative means our ranged sneak attacks do 2.5 damage. They synergize really well together, and it's possible to get something like, I think it's like 4.5 or 5.5 times sneak damage multipliers. Really, really important, that is. But what else is there? Sneak, 75% harder to detect when sneaking. Brilliant one. It means we can just essentially just keep moving while sneaking, and enemies just won't see us. It's absolutely fantastic. Give it a go. If you actually get that perk, max that out. You'll be amazed. Oh, hello. Lol. Okay, so yeah, that's why you want the faster fire rate on this thing. It's absolutely insane. Alright, so after that, we also have Escape Artist. Escape Artist is really good. Sneak to lose enemies, and running no longer affects stealth. So in other words, you can just escape your enemy's vision, and they'll forget where you are. Really useful perk, that is. Really, really useful, especially if you're just dealing with one enemy, such as Earl Williams, for example. You can just keep moving in circles, and he'll keep forgetting where you are until you shoot him again. And then he'll remember where you are. So keep moving, and keep shooting in circles, and he'll really struggle to find you. It's a great perk. Gung Fu. This is a really nice perk. I don't use this too often, but VATS instantly swaps to the next kill with 10 plus damage on your next kill. I only really use that if I'm dealing with mobs, but it's a really nice perk because it essentially means that you can kill things much, much quicker, because VATS will automatically swap targets, as you saw with those two right there. It just instantly swapped to the next target once it was dead, and it did more damage to the one after that, which is a really nice extra effect. And then after that, after Gun Fu, I don't always use this one. I often take that one off. We have Adrenaline. Now, Adrenaline is an exceptionally good perk. Gain plus 10% damage, up to a maximum of 60% damage for 30 seconds per kill, and with duration refreshes with kills. What this means is that if you kill 6 enemies very quickly, you will do an extra 60% damage. And then that will last for a little bit of time. And then you can go and quickly deal with a really big enemy. So in other words, let's say I'm fighting a Milo Queen. I could kill 6 tiny little enemies surrounding her, and then focus on the queen, and I'll be doing 60% extra damage to her. Adrenaline is great, but you've got to remember to top it up. And it does take a lot. It takes 5 agility to use that. So it's a big one, but that's what you truly need if you want to properly min-max. Adrenaline in combination with Mr. Sandman and also Covert Operative. Very, very crucial those are. And now for luck, also very interesting, all about synergy and getting criticals easily. Bloody Mess. Bloody Mess, 50% more damage. Easy. Better criticals. VATS critical shots do 40% more damage. We'll demonstrate why that's good in a moment. We'll go and test it. But 40% more is fantastic. 4-leaf clover. Each hit in VATS has an excellent chance to refill your critical meter. That's really, really good because there are some which are similar, such as Psychopath. Any kill has a chance to refill your critical meter. Or Grim Reaper Sprint. Any kill in VATS has a chance to restore your action points. They're all very similar. But this one gives you a chance to get your critical back, and having the criticals is what gets you the insane amount of damage, and this is per hit with a very fast rate of fire, so therefore that is an insanely good weapon, that's an insanely good perk, sorry, and I think it's definitely worth using. Class Freak, only level 1, this one here, because level 1, it does a nicer thing to your mutations. You know, it actually means that you don't have to deal with too much of the bad effects, and it looks really, really good when you go and open up your special mutation loadout and stuff like that. It's really nice. Starched Jeans, again, so I don't accidentally get rid of my mutations, because mutations are extremely important. And then critical savvy. Critical hits now only consume 55% of the critical meter. This combined with 4-leaf clover means we are getting criticals constantly, especially with our high rate of fire gun. It's insane. So that is the build there. Really, really, really powerful stealth commando build. It could be better, like I could maybe have some better charisma ones, I could also have some extra things to use in intelligence, because right now I've pretty much only got nerd rage in there, that's essential. I could maybe get like demo expert, rank 2, or something along those lines, you know, to make it a bit more useful in day-to-day play, but really, really good overall. But now, what about my legendary perks? Now, these, as I said, I've never really maxed out this character, because this is actually quite a low level character, she's like a level 130, something like that, but this character... Follow through. Range sneak attack damage increases target damage by 40% for 10 seconds. That is the one I'm currently trying to unlock on my other character, so I can use it when I swap back and forth between characters. Ammo factory, I won't need it anymore because the other character's already got it. Legendary agility, I would love to have on the other character, so we just get extra AP points. Not extra special loadout, but extra AP, which is really, really nice. Funky duds, again, ignores poison. You'll be surprised how powerful just rank level 1 is. Definitely worth it. Master Infiltrator because lazy, and also Legendary Intelligence. That is just so we can increase our XP quicker. You know, it'd be nice to have that much higher. You know what I mean? Okay, so those are the 2 actual loadouts. So, you can see why I would like to be able to swap back and forth between those 2. Because they're very, very distinctly different builds. However, this character is going to have a nightmare getting all of the Legendary perk cards she needs. And also, this character is going to take a long time to catch up in learning all of the plans and everything like that. So it would be really nice to transfer all the armor, or at least all the armor I can, to my other character, and all the weapons I can, all the ammo I can, etc. So she can have an insane amount of damage output as a stealth commando, and then just swap back and forth anytime. The only thing which is a bit of a nuisance with the special loadouts is that you will have to also get back all of your legendary perks, so you need to make sure you've actually got a few perk coins before you swap back and forth, you know, because otherwise you're kind of min-maxing, not really min-maxing properly, are you? But then again, if you actually pick legendary perks that work well together across 2 classes, then you can have a good time. I'm going to go and find a tanky enemy. Over here we have got a queen. We're going to go and see what this character can actually do to a Mirelurk queen, just to demonstrate how powerful she is and why I want to use her more. But yeah, I absolutely adore my Stealth Commando build, but as I said, you know, she was much, much more powerful. Maybe 5 times more powerful than she is now, but because they did those balance changes, so they're no longer stackable, it caused problems. Oh, hello. There we go, a Scorch Beast there as well. Scorch Beast, a legendary Scorch Beast. Go on then, we'll take on the Scorch Beast instead, actually, see what that's like. There we go, not bad for like 20 bullets, right? There we go, AP's run out. Extra hip fire from the anti-armor perk right there. And she's dead. Oh well, never mind. I forgot what it's like to play a bloody character. So there we go, people. That is why I would really like to combine my 2 characters into 1 character. Like, a little bit embarrassing that I died at the end there. You know, I think I really forgot what it's like with those Scorch Beast attacks against a bloodied character who doesn't have the right perks, you know. So I would like to combine Blep into Final Render, my main character, so we can actually retire her, make it a bit easier on the Bethesda servers, and also it means I can just swap to a really powerful commando build anytime I want, which is great. And then the only characters I have left are this one, which what used to be my all melee PvP build, if you remember. I used to play that character a lot until I pretty much retired her. And then Yeetet, who's my Nuclear Winter character, who's got all the rewards in Nuclear Winter. But anyways, guys, that is that video. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been way longer than I wanted to. I didn't mean to make a video this long, but it's pretty rambly, but I think it's an interesting video nonetheless. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what kind of characters you are going to combine together with the special loadout system, and let me know what kind of main builds you run with now. I'm still probably going to primarily be my anti-armor tank build because that's my favorite, but I love the Stealth Commando build. It's really, really good, and I probably could have not died then if I had something like Fireproof on that character, couldn't I? You know, because the sonic attack is technically an explosion damage, so I could have survived that against the Scorch Beast. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, gang. Bye-bye. 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 Special thank you to all of our YouTube members and patrons, including our level 3 YouTube members, which currently consists of PsykerGirl, Katrina McKenna, and Raven's Roost.